It is so simple when it comes down to it. I keep saying, know thyself, and more you know thyself, you get to the core of it, which is the root of our being. And what's happening there? It's just the way it is as the nature prevails, the law of nature. And that is what I say, thy will be done. Thy will is being done. And then there's peace. It's beyond the mind understanding. Well, you can call it understanding because when you get to the root of it, what's happening there is just the way it is, as it is. And everything around us and inside of us is as it is. And if you know it as direct experience, it's almost the same, or it is the same as meeting God. Because that's where the miracle takes place, and you are the miracle, and the universe is being born. And that's how we live. It's a miracle. The mind cannot do it. So mind is trying to understand, but you don't get it. The mind doesn't get it. But at the root of it is that function and all the stuff going on. If you look at yourself, the hand and the feet and the intestines and the kidney and lung and heart and everything, mind cannot manage them. Mind can have some influence or may have a reaction in your body because the mind is body is connected. But when you're asleep, for example, the body is taking care of itself and you go to sleep, rested. And next morning you wake up, you're not waking up, the body is waking up and you realize you woke up and then continue living your life, thinking that your mind is the major character to conduct life and use the body or whatever. But mind is just added, the brain is added after the evolution took place from the monkeys and whatever. But mind has such a way of dissecting and interpreting and finding the meaning and doing this and that. So that's the identity of who you are, thinking that you are doing something, but there's always a boundary or place where you cannot go across, which is mind is not alive in the sense of the body is alive. Mind is just a function of or the tool of how things are interpreted for the sake of your survival, doing this or doing that. But you're like floating, and that's the point of the waves or ripples. And the ocean down below is the source, the same water, but the mind is the ripple or the waves, but down deep. And without that down deep functioning of the nature, mind is just like a screen and a picture on the screen, thinking that's the reality. But the mind is the interpretation of what's going on, and to be used for the sake of the source of energy, the life, to be prevailing. So who is the master? The master is the source of who we are, the thy will. In Japanese, it's Shizen. It's funny to think about it because Shizen is two words put together. Shi is like a yourself and Zen as it is. So being yourself as it is. So it's a nature. It's already there functioning within us or everywhere. And that's the master. And without that, we don't exist. Without that, the miracle didn't happen that the dust of universe are configured in some way or the other and evolved to the point of where we are. From the monkeys or even the lettuce and amoeba, whatever, at the beginning and then evolving. And I talk about be the master of a destiny, but the real master is not you. It's the functioning of this universe, the nature's way as it is. You're just floating. The master is that one at the source, the function, and the mind is just the peripheral to relate to that, to appreciate, maybe a better word. Then you are not as arrogant, and you are not the master. You are just a ripple, waves, phenomena. Kenji Miyazawa, I was thinking about his work. Spring and Ashura was the name of the writing. And in there he was talking about I am like organic current of the blue and white electricity or some such thing. And it's very interesting because I can see that, I can feel it, that what's inside of me is like a neuron sparking, firing back and forth, and then that's like a electricity. And I feel that vibration, and you may see that light if you're meditating. And when the mind is calm and quiet, you are there, you feel it. That's the awakening, that's the, you may call it enlightenment. And you are enlightening all the time when you notice it. That the vibration and all the fizzle, whatever you call it, that the lightning, the firing in the brain or anywhere in a body, they just function the way they do well, from breathing the air to digesting and nutrition turn into the energy or protein or amino acid, whatever, the hormones and all the complex process. It just works on its own. And mind can study those, or the brain can study and understand, but you never get there. But the sense I have is just the pure appreciation of what's going on in there. That makes me very humble. Small mind struggling in the world, going this and worrying this and that, but we're just floating on the ocean, like a waves or ripples. The mind move around. But down deep, that I guess is the expression from one of the sutra, the Buddha's hand. It's so big, and then you're just a small piece on it. So what's the point of this? I think the point is be humble, be sincere and truthful to the reality, if I may call that, of what's going on. As much as we know more about ourselves, and going deeper into who we are, we get to the point of where the life is functioning with calm and quiet mind. I think they call it jhana. There are different stages of the mind. You go deeper into it. It's kind of like during the sleep, we may have the alpha, beta, and theta waves and stuff like that. Then you get down to the core of it. And then you go up and down a few cycles. But in meditation, you can go through the similar experience. Or without even sitting, you can connect to that and feel that liveliness. And that's who we are. It's a miracle. And I don't know if I used the word happiness there. It's a bliss, maybe that's another one, or peace, that you are one with that. You are the expression of thy will, or nature's way, on its own, as it is. So, is this just a stupid talk, or I'd like to say this is the reality of us getting to the root of who we are, appreciating the functioning of how the universe is prevailing and coming out as who we are. We live and die, struggle here and there. It's again on the surface of the ocean, or on the big hand of Buddha, we are just running around like small pieces. But we have that life force. We are the life force, the energy everywhere. All the particles and cells dancing around like a little flickering blue-white light. All the neurons firing network find the balance on its own, eating, digesting, processing, generating hormones, proteins, converting this and that, oxygen and carbon dioxide, and all sorts of complexities. And that's who we are. And let's know the miracle of what's happening in us. And hopefully we have time to even directly experience that, to meet the miracle, who we are. I am that I am. Busy modern day world, confusion in the mind. But I mentioned elsewhere, be at home, melting into the nature, because that's who we are. Nature, Shizen, on its own as it is.